Hey, and welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk about how to survive working at a startup with your physical and mental health intact. Working at a startup can be a great way to expand your horizon and gain a lot of experience very quickly, wear a lot of different hats at work, and just really push yourself and your skills and your knowledge and just grow as a person. However, there's of course also a downside to this, and I think it's important to talk about it and think about how we can make it sustainable. Maybe you want to start working at a startup and want to prepare for how to master this challenge, or you're already working at one and finding it kind of difficult or exhausting and want to see how you can improve that. So this video will hopefully give you some new ideas to get more balance into your startup life. So my name is Anna and I'm a German mechanical engineer based in Sweden. From my own experience, I know that working at a startup can be really fulfilling and interesting, but I've also noticed some aspects that can be toxic or harmful to your physical and mental health. Since startups are really young companies, they usually don't have a lot of resources, and this usually also means that the workload is high, you work long hours and don't take a lot of breaks and can get into the cycle of just overworking and under-resting or not resting enough. And this is of course not sustainable in the long run, so I've prepared a few tips and strategies so that working at a startup can be a long-term positive experience. So let's talk about them. Okay, the first one, let's start before you even get hired, or rather while you're negotiating the conditions. A lot of startups cannot offer you a high salary, and usually they can also not offer you shorter working hours or being paid for over hours. Still, definitely push for that. But if you don't have success there, then there's other things that you can ask for in a negotiation as well. So one thing that you can negotiate for is more flexibility, both in your working hours and where you work. So maybe you can work from home some of the days or all of the time and also work at different hours. It can make a huge difference if you're able to go to an appointment without taking a holiday, or at least taking some time off work. And if you're able to, run errands or do your laundry while you're working, that can really make a big difference in the stress you have. Then another thing you can ask for is definitely more holidays. So this cannot really make up for over hours, but at least it can make sure that you can take breaks regularly that are long enough to really allow you to recover. And often startups can be more flexible in giving you more holidays compared to a higher salary or a lower workload. Then there's also benefits companies can give you that allow you to decrease your cost, but there's not so many taxes to pay on it. And so even a company with not a lot of money can often afford things like this, such as gym memberships and public transport. Companies can make contracts to have these be for free for you, things that you would pay for anyway. And then one thing I would always ask for as well, especially if you're an early employee, is a stake in the company. So some kind of payment in the form of owning a part of the company. Because if you're spending all of your time to get this company out of the ground, and you're taking also the risk of the company failing anytime and you losing a job, then you should also reap the benefits of that. Secondly, I would make sure to always set clear boundaries and deadlines for yourself and also towards your colleagues. Since work always fills the time that is available to do it, I think it's really important to have a target by when you want to finish a task or by when you want to finish your work day. And I know this is really difficult because usually you will be pushed to work more and longer hours and to do this still today because it's really, really urgent. But I would just encourage you to set boundaries. Say, okay, I'm working during these hours. I'm available for calls or messaging during these specific hours, and otherwise my phone is turned off. I know this is not always possible, but this should be the target. Maybe allow for like a flexible time that sometimes you need it, sometimes not. So let's say you want to be done by 5, but maybe on some days you will stay until 5:30 if necessary, or yeah, if something really urgent comes up. It can also earn you respect from other people and make them respect you more if you respect yourself and your own boundaries. Because if you already signal to other people that, well, your weekend is flexible and your evening is flexible, then they will definitely treat it as that. But if you say as a baseline, I don't work in the evening, I don't work on weekends, then first of all you get that time to rest and do a better job when you are working. And also other people have to work harder to get you to move your boundaries for them or make an exception for them. My third point is to prioritize sleep and exercise and build them into a routine that's really easy and frictionless. So if you're already overworked and you don't know where to find the time to sleep and exercise, which are really important things to be balanced and healthy, then don't set the target really high. Don't say, okay, I want to do an hour of this really complicated workout that I've only done a couple of times. Don't come up with a really impossible routine. Instead, maybe there's a gym on the way to work, or maybe you can just cycle to your work. Maybe you can just go for a 20-minute run, or just go for a walk during lunch. So something that can really become a part of your routine that doesn't require a lot of thinking and doesn't become another stress factor in your life when everything else is already stressful enough. Because instead of doing one really great and hard workout once a week or even less than that, it's better to do like a kind of shitty, easy workout every day. My tip number 4 is to be really clear on the personal goals you want to achieve from this work experience at the startup. So it's very easy to get drawn into the goals of the startup and just make them your own goals. But you should also be clear about what you want to achieve in your personal life or in your career that this job is giving to you. And then also demand tasks like that, or projects, a position that gives you these. For example, maybe you want to gain coding experience, or you want to learn more about marketing even though you have a different position, or your goal is to just be part of a great team and enjoy your work. Either way, this should be clear, and you should be getting those things as well. Your personal goals should not be everything, but they should be a part of your job. My tip number 5 is to keep your work relationships professional. Now, it's fine to be friends with your colleagues, but when you're working, then it should also be clear that you're doing things because they're your job and not because you like the other person. So the reason this is important is that other people cannot pressure or guilt trip you into supporting them outside of your job and exploit you because you're also friends with them. I mean, it's really, really nice if you get along with your colleagues and if you can be friends and do things together after work. That's a super great experience to be part of a close and supportive team, but there should be some boundaries between the personal relationship and the professional relationship with them. And point number 6 is a little bit related to that, and that's to make sure that you keep friends outside of your work, especially if you're part of a very fun and tight-knit team and you're tackling all these challenges together. Then it can easily happen that you just focus on that group and kind of lose contact to the outside world. It's really easy to get sucked up into the startup bubble, and so I think it's important to have some friends that keep you grounded and that you talk to about things that are not work, because the startup lifestyle can be very intense and also sometimes harmful, and it's harder to see the startup working culture with a critical eye if you're only involved with people who are also inside of that. And so it's good to talk to outside friends to keep you grounded and also see what parts you do like and what you don't like, and keep your life more balanced. So that was everything I have today. These were my survival tips for working at a startup. I hope that there was something interesting for you in the video, and let me know if you have any tips for working in a startup or a similarly intense company. If you like this video, please leave me a like and consider subscribing. With that said, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope to see you in my next video.